Okay, this is my second time recording this video because I just went on a tangent and spoke for 45 minutes. I've had my matcha, my coffee matcha abomination, and this is what happens when I don't plan a video. I just talk and talk, and I have no business asking for people to listen to me for 40 minutes. So here we go again. I don't know what will be different because I quite literally stopped recording and then pressed the recording button again. So it was mere seconds. I didn't write anything down, so I don't know. I'm very hopeful for myself, and I'm sorry to editing self. I'm gonna lose 95% of you simply by saying that there will be no food in this video. I'm still recovering from COVID. I got COVID like 10 days ago, my first time, and the fatigue that comes, I know I'm very late for this conversation, but the fatigue that comes post-COVID and during being sick is just otherworldly. So the idea of creating recipes and cooking and filming seems right now physically impossible. So I thought I'd just sit down and have a little chat and really try and keep it short and sweet, because I think it's the very sad fact that it took me getting really sick with COVID and then, you know, binge watching like 24 hours of Netflix for me to then feel viscerally, physically disgusted by screens and my phone. And because I was still feeling, I still had quite a bad headache, I couldn't really read. So I spent a lot of hours just lying on the couch, dozing in and out of sleep. And it got me thinking of a few things. I think especially because of the timing, it's the end of the year, that I just started thinking about my year and who I've been and what has happened, and had a really nice moment of reflection just from simply being bored. I think that is one of the the big teachings always, is how important time alone and like solitude and nourishing time alone is. Anyway, I tend to circle back to the same ideas, to the same essence, and it's very interesting for me to kind of pinpoint why I walked away from something that I was really intentional about. And what I was really committed to at the beginning of the year was, once again, romanticizing my life, slowing down, committing to like some really sweet and tender rituals for myself. And I think many people have this idea that I'm a very calm person that is for some reason always meditating and journaling, and it couldn't be further from the truth. The content that I share does allude to that. I'm not gonna say that it's like totally weird, but it alludes to that because that is what I long to be. That is what is like always interesting to me, because I don't know how to rest. I don't know how to feel well rested. I have a very chaotic mind. I'm always doing a million things at once, etc., etc. Before continuing on with the video, I just wanted to give a huge thank you to Squarespace for continuing to work with me and sponsoring this video. We love them on this channel. It's your go-to place if you want to start an online presence. They make it so easy. They have so many templates to choose from that you can just click and suddenly it looks like you've spent many hours building your own website. And they make it so enjoyable to create and foster community. You can share blog posts and photos. You can create your own newsletter, which is a really intimate way of engaging with your audience. And if you want to start your own online business, you can do so in very little time. They make the whole process super safe, again, very intuitive, and I've used Squarespace for a number of years and I cannot recommend them enough. So if this sounds like you can head over to squarespace.com to start your free trial, and once you're ready to launch your website or domain, you can go to squarespace.com/inamontañez and get 10% off of your first purchase of a website or domain. So thank you, Squarespace. Back to the video. So I was very intentional about romanticizing my life, and that was working really well. When I look back at the beginning of the year, I'm like, God, that felt like such a good time. What happened? Now I'm starting to make a few connections. I think it was really special that for some reason collectively we all decided to romanticize our lives. I love watching people and the simple ways that they extract joy and meaning from life and from mundane tasks. I think for myself, I'm so wary and suspicious of the wellness space. As a person who is very much part of the wellness space, I do know this. Anyway, so I become really wary of wellness because when something becomes a wellness trend, my immediate reaction to that is, it's unsustainable. Most people won't be able to engage with this advice. And so in my head, I'm like, well, you can only romanticize your life because you work from home every day, and you engaging in that is not only you engaging in that for your own self-preservation, it is very much also influenced by the fact that this is your job and you are creating content. And so I can see the ways in which I stepped away from slowing down. My work schedule changed, and now it's very easy for me to see that I didn't adapt to that new work schedule. I kind of let that work schedule kind of like absorb me, and I wasn't intentional with the ways that I could create some pockets of self-care for myself. And because most of my rituals, it sounds so silly, but like most of my rituals, my mornings are ritual heavy. Like it's easier for me to engage in self-care in the morning because my symbols are very much intertwined with the morning time. So for example, my cup of coffee or my cup of matcha, that is very linked to that specific time in the morning. When I started working for someone else, I had to wake up at 5 a.m. for 30, and therefore I had no more mornings. And because I tend to not have many rituals at nighttime, it just felt like, see, it's not sustainable. It's only for the people that have a malleable schedule. Now I would argue that, and your schedule isn't malleable, and you work many hours, it is even more important to be able to find and create some pleasure and romance in the mundane. It's imperative. So I'm back here. I'm back to knowing that rituals are a way in which we can house ourselves, you know, add some stability and some structure to our own lives, especially in amidst chaos. Okay, my camera died, and that is a sure sign that I need to wrap it up. Potentially, did I need to be a little bit more zoomed in? Oh, I don't know. Anyway, I want this video to be of value. I don't want it to just be like me just chatting away, but I think that is potentially what it is. I want to be more mindful of the things that make me feel good and continue to do those things regardless of the noise around me. I also want to say that it is not the cure for everything, obviously. I'm telling you all of this as someone who is medicated. You can have the most beautiful of rituals and still be depressed. You can have the best, healthiest routine and still be chronically ill. There is an underlying, very problematic vein of ableism when it comes to wellness. And if wellness is constantly suggesting you a cure in exchange for, you know, your mental health, or in exchange for your autonomy, in exchange for ridiculous amounts of money, whatever it is, that is not wellness, because it is It's not including you in part of the conversation. In fact, it's excluding you by saying that the only way that you can be part of this space is if you do all these things. And you can do all the things and not feel 100%. In fact, I feel like they sell us this idea that we can all feel 100%, and we never will, because we live in capitalism. So there are many ways in which I can slow down. So lately, like, I've deleted TikTok. No more, no más. Deleted, never again. And one app that I've been subscribed to for like a year now, because I love it so much, is, I always say it in Spanish, but I'm sure the pronunciation is different, but it's are.na. And it's kind of like Pinterest in the way that you create boards and then you pin things, but it's people pinning something that an author said, or an interview that they want to read later on, or a series of photographs. It's just such a lovely, slow, intentional way of engaging with strangers on the internet that takes a little bit more time. It feels more rewarding to me anyway. I am learning to consume music in a slower way, of engaging with albums again, and taking my time to appreciate a full piece of work. I used to go to the cinema on my own every Monday or Tuesday, and that is something that I stopped doing, so I need to go back to that. And obviously, books. I've been reading more lately. I'm always trying to read more, but it always goes in phases. That is totally fine. That's always also another thing. There's no need to be highly critical or judgmental of your past self. I think we're always trying to do the best that we can with the information that we have and how we feel. And so I'm sure that a lot of the things that I was doing in the past that I'm like, oh, I wish I had done differently, were actually quite healthy, potentially coping mechanisms that allowed me to survive to some extent. It's a bit dramatic, but you know, it's nice to be gentle on yourself. Why not, right? When there's that option. So yeah, I've been reading more. I've been trying to create my December list of reading. I'm very particular of the things that I read during that season, because I am really longing for comforting reads. Slowing down, ugh. Always have to revisit, come back, circle back. There is no, it's never the end until you die. Then that's the end. Life just seems like learning the same thing over and over and over again until you die. I think another question that I want to ask more for myself next year is, where and when do I feel most well rested? Who makes me feel restful and calm? I have a history of confusing rest with isolation, and those two are not interchangeable. In fact, isolating myself does not make me feel well rested. It actually makes me like neurotic. There's something obviously very different between solitude that is very healthy to then like retreating and isolating yourself. And I've been spending some time detangling those two. I don't have to isolate myself from the world in order to create peace for myself. So that's another interesting thing that I've been trying to relearn. Friendships, in fact, the most important and most loving friendships are the ones that I feel most well rested after. I'm like, oh my god, that felt so good. I don't have to like cut myself off from the world in order to feel like I'm taking care of myself. I can take care of myself within my workplace, and I can take care of myself within my friendships and within my other relationships. Anyway, oh my god, so many tangents. Okay, I'm gonna leave. And I was gonna talk about books. I have all these books with me, but I guess I'll talk about that in a later video because it's too long. I send you the biggest hug, and I will see you very soon. And yeah. I hope you enjoyed this. Yeah, okay. It's okay. I can do what I want. Bye.